Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we noted, we are covering the municipalities. Okay. And basically, these are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion under this particular series, like starting with introduction part, thereafter the evolution of the urban bodies, thereafter the 74th Amendment Act of 1992, thereafter the types of urban governments, thereafter the municipal personnel, thereafter the municipal revenue, thereafter the Central Council of Local Government. Okay. Out of this, we have done with the introduction part. We have completed the evolution of urban bodies. We have done with the 74th Amendment Act of 1992. In the previous lecture, we had started with the types of urban governments, and the topics that we are completely left with is the municipal personnel, municipal revenue, and the Central Council of Local Government. Okay, so that is the picture that we have created so far altogether. So basically, we will start from where we had left in the previous lecture, and that's a thing. Okay, in the previous lecture, we had started the discussion over the notified area committee after finishing the two things like the municipal corporations and the municipalities. These are the part of types of urban governments, which are total 8 in number. Okay, so what do you mean by the notified area committee? Let's discuss about it. A notified area committee is created for the administration of two types of areas. Either the area is the fast developing town due to the industrialization, or you can say a town which does not yet fulfill all the conditions necessary for the constitution of municipalities. Okay, which means the population is not as much that the local government is required there in the form of municipal corporation or the municipality, but which otherwise considered important by the state government, but that is totally dependent upon the state government, like whether they want to declare the city as the backward area and they declare the area as a fast developing town. Okay, since it is established by the notification in the government gazette, that's why it is known as the notified area committee. Like, this is not decided on the population basis. That is basically decided on the notification released by the government gazette. Though it functions within the framework of the State Municipal Act, only those provisions of the Act apply to it which are notified in the government gazette by which it is created. It may also be entrusted to exercise powers under any other act. It means that the provisions of 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992 not directly applicable on this. Why? Because it is basically established as per the notification provided by the state government. Okay, so that's why whatsoever the rights, the rules, and the other things the state government has provided to the notified area committee as per the notifications, only those applicable to these areas. Okay, thereafter, powers are almost equivalent to those of the municipality, but unlike the municipality, it is an entirely nominated body. Why? Because in the municipality, there is a mixture of nomination and elections. That is, all the members of the notified area committee, including the chairman, are nominated by the state government. Thus, it is neither an elected body nor a statutory body, but an nominated body. Okay, so only in powers it having the equivalence to the municipalities. But when we talk about the composition and the manner of election, then basically it is a totally different, and you can say that is known as the notified area committee or the nominated committee. Thereafter, what is the town area committee? So basically, town area committee is set up for the administration of small town. It is a semi-municipal authority and it is entrusted with a limited number of civic functions like the drainage, roads, street lighting, and the conservancy. Okay, created by a separate act of a state legislature. Composition, functions, and other matters are governed by the act, may be wholly elected or wholly nominated by the state government, or partly elected and the partly nominated by the state government's notification. So basically, if we talk about town area committee, then first we understand what is the meaning of town. Like if we talk about this area, suppose this and this. This is the rural area and this is the urban area. In between of this, this is the area which is neither fully urban or fully rural, but combination of two. Okay, so that's why these areas are oftenly known as the transitional areas or town areas, because they are not as large as to be declared as an urban area, nor as small as to be declared as a rural areas. Okay, so basically for the administration, the particular committee set up by the state government by passing a separate legislation or the act, and that particular committee is known as the town area committee, and they are empowered with a limited number of civic functions, like they could look after the drainage, road, street lighting, and conservancy. Okay, and it is totally depend upon the state government whether they would like to made it fully elected or fully nominated, or you can say as a combination of both, which means partly elected and the partly nominated. So that is totally dependent upon the state legislature. Thereafter, another one is the cantonment boards. Okay, a cantonment board established for municipal administration for civil population in the cantonment area, set up under the provisions of Cantonment Act 2006, a legislation enacted by the central government. So basically, if we're talking about the cantonments, which is the military garrisons, then basically they were firstly started by the Sher Shah Suri, who was the ruler of Delhi in the medieval times. Okay, thereafter that got strengthened during the British time. All right, so basically these are the garrisons which are specially designed for the military and paramilitary forces. For the military and the paramilitary forces. Okay, but these areas also consider civic population. So that's why for the municipal administration for the civil population, the cantonment boards were established, and these are operates as per the Cantonment Acts of 2006. Okay, and this is not any state government's act, but it is a central government act. Okay, it works under the administrative control of the Defense Ministry of the central government. Thus, unlike the above four types of urban local bodies, which are created and administered by the state government, Cantonment Board is created as well as administered by the central government. It means that the state government does not having any kind of jurisdiction over the cantonment boards. Why? Because it comes under the Central Ministry of Defense. Okay, so the Cantonment Acts of 2006 was enacted to consolidate and amend the law relating to the administration of cantonments with a view to impart greater democratization, improvement of their financial base, to make provisions for the developmental activities and for matters connected with them. And these are basically for the civilian population living in the military and paramilitary areas. Okay, this act has repealed the previous Cantonments Act of 1924, which was presented by the Britishers. Why? Because that particular act has a limited scope, because the civilian population in the cantonments during British time was mostly Indians, and as we know that the Britishers did not have any intentions to provide the welfare to the, you can say, the civilians or the Indians. At present 2019, there are 62 cantonment boards in the country. They are grouped into 4 categories on the basis of the civil population. And there is the table which shows the category. Okay, so first thing we have seen that there is a 4 categories on the basis of the civil population. The first category is the first category in which the civil population is above 50,000 people. Second category is in which the civil population is between the 10,000 to 50,000 people. Third category is in which the civil population is 2,500 to 10,000, and the fourth category is in which the civic population is below 2,500. Okay, that's the thing. So just write it down again so that the thing should be revised in our mind forever. First category, second category, third category, fourth category. The first category, the population must be above 50,000. Second category, the population is between 10,000, 50,000 to 10,000. Third category, the population is between 2,500 to 10,000. And at last, in the fourth category, it is below 2,500. Okay, so that is the table shows the categorization of the cantonment boards as per the population. Okay, a cantonment boards consist of partly elected and the partly nominated members. So we could say that it is an influx of elected and nominated members. The elected members hold office for a term of 5 years, while the nominated members, ex officio members, continue so long as they hold the office in that station. Okay, it means that the elected people is having the fixed tenure, but the nominated people is do not having the fixed tenure. It's totally depending upon their residing areas, residing years in that particular area. Okay, the military officer commanding the station is the ex officio president of the board. Okay, and preside over its meeting. The vice president of the board is elected by the elected members from amongst themselves for a term of 5 years. Okay, so the category 1 cantonment board consists of the following members. The first member is the military officer commanding the station. He is also the ex officio president, which means that he is having the right to sitting and discuss, but he does not having voting rights. Okay. Another one is the executive engineer in the cantonment board. Okay. Thereafter, an health officer in the cantonment, a first class magistrate nominated by the district magistrate, 3 military officers nominated by the officer commanding the station. Thereafter, 8 members elected by the people of the cantonment area, and these are the elected members. At last, the chief executive officer of the cantonment board, who is a CEO. The functions performed by the cantonment board are similar to those of the municipalities, but apart from the entire area, they are specifically concentrated in that particular cantonment boards. Okay, they are statutorily categorized into obligatory functions and the discretionary functions. It means that the some functions are obligated to them, they are required to discharge these functions, and the some functions are discretionary functions. It means that they having the power, maybe, or may not be to fulfill these functions. The sources of income includes both the tax revenue and the non-tax revenue. Okay, the tax revenue, as we know, that they could implement the octroi tax, toll tax, and whatsoever. Non-tax is basically from fines and other things. Okay. Thereafter, the executive officer of the cantonment board is appointed by the President of India. Okay. Who appoints the executive officer of the cantonment boards? President of India. Who appoints the executive officer of the municipalities? State legislature. Who appointed the commissioner of municipal corporation? State legislature. He implements all the resolutions and decisions of the board in his committee, belongs to the central cadre established for the purpose. Okay. Thereafter, the cantonment boards, another thing what we have is the township. This type of urban government is established by the large public enterprises to provide the civic amenities to its staff and workers who live in the housing colonies built near the plant. For example, suppose if we talk about Tata. Tata is the one of the biggest industries of India. All right. So suppose this is their plan which they had made. Okay. Thereafter, nearby it, they had established a quarters. Okay, in which the workers' families residing. All right. So the workers' families also formulated the part of civilian population, right? Formulates a part of civilian population. So what does it mean? It means that they must be provided with the civic amenities. So for this, the corporation which had established the plant and made the, you can say the quarters and all, these are required to provide these civil amenities under the township. Got it? So remember that whenever we talk about the township, then basically it is established by the large public enterprises which provide the civic amenities to its staff and workers who live in the housing colonies built near the plant. The enterprise appoint the town administrator to look after the administration of the township. Okay, here is no governmental interference in appointment of key figurines. Like here we had seen the administrator who is in charge to look after the entire township is basically appointed by the enterprise, not by any government authority or the body. He is assisted by the some engineers and other technical and non-technical staff. Thus, the township form a urban government that has no elected members. Why? Because it is totally, or you can say it is entirely nominated body. Okay. In fact, it is an extension of the bureaucratic structure of the enterprises. Bureaucratic, why? Because the administrator and the other ones who were appointed by the enterprises, they are discharging the functions and the duties of the civil servants. Okay, that's the thing. Thereafter, another thing what we have here is the port trust. What do you mean by the port trust? The port trusts are established in the ports like the coastal cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, and so on for two purposes. Okay, to manage and protect the port. First thing, to provide the civic amenities. A port trust is created by the Act of Parliament, so that's why it comes under the central government. Consists of both elected and the nominated members. Its chairman is an official. Its civic functions are more or less similar to those of the municipalities and basically provides for the postal areas. Thereafter, the last one is the special purpose agency. In condition to these 7 area-based urban bodies or the municipality agencies, the state have set up certain agencies to undertake designated functions or the specific functions. That's why it is known as the special purpose agency. Legitimately belong to the domain of municipal corporation or municipalities or other local governments, but they are empowered with some other things. In other words, these are function based and not area based. Okay, known as the single purpose or the uni-purpose or the special purpose agencies or the functional local bodies. So these are the name of this. And such example of these bodies is the Town Improvement Trust, Urban Development Authorities, Water Supply and Sewerage Boards, Housing Boards, Pollution and Control Boards. So here, if you look at here, what you are getting, that these are specifically charged with some purposes. Okay, so keep this thing in mind. Thereafter, another example of these are the electricity supply boards and the city transport boards. These functions, or you can say these functional local bodies, are established as a statutory body by an act of the state legislature or as departments by an executive resolution. They function as autonomous bodies and deal with the functions allotted to them independently of the local urban government, that is the municipal corporation or the municipalities and so forth. Thus, they are not subordinate agencies of the local municipal bodies. Why? Because they having the statutory bodies, so that's why they do not having the interference by the others. After this, now we have the concept of municipal personnel. What do you mean by this? Let's understand. So, there are the 3 types of municipal personnel system in India. Personnel working in the urban governments may belong to any one or all 3 types. The first is the separate personnel system. Under this system, Each local body appoints, administers, and controls its own personnel. They are not transferable to other local bodies. Most widely prevalent system upholds the principle of local autonomy and promotes undivided loyalty because the person is going to function there on. Thereafter, the unified personal system. In this system, the state government appoints, administers, and controls the municipal personnel. Other words, state-wide services and cadres are created for all the other bodies in the state. They are transferable between the local bodies in the state. System is prevalent in the states like the Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and so on. Okay. Thereafter, the integrated personal system. Under this system, the personnel of the state government and those of the local bodies form part of same service. In other words, the municipal personnels are the members of the state services. They are transferable not only between the local bodies in the state, but also between local bodies and departments of state government. Thus, there is no distinction between the local civil services and the state civil services. System is prevalent in the states of Odisha, Bihar, Karnataka, Punjab, Haryana, and others. Various legal institutions providing training to the municipal personnel are All India Institute of Local Self-Government, constituted in 1927. It is a private registered society. Center for Urban and Local Studies, New Delhi, set up in 1967 on the recommendation of Nuruddin Ahmed Committee on Training of Municipal Employees, 1963-1965. Regional Centers for Urban Environmental Studies in Kolkata, Lucknow, Hyderabad, and Mumbai, set up in 1968 on the recommendation of Nuruddin Ahmed Committee on Training of Municipal Employees, 1963-65. National Institution of Urban Affairs, established in 1976. Human Settlement Management Institute, established in 1985. Thereafter, if we talk about the municipal revenue, we had already talked about it more. There are 5 sources of income of the local urban bodies. Tax revenue, like the property tax, entertainment tax, taxes on advertisements, professional tax, water tax, tax on animals, lighting tax, pilgrim tax, market tax, tolls on new bridges, octroi, and so on. In addition, the municipal bodies imposes various cesses like the library cess, education cess, bakery cess, and so on. Octroi, taxes on the entry of goods into a local area for the consumption, use, or sale of therein, has been abolished in most of the states. Property tax is the most important tax revenue because it generates a good source of income. Thereafter, the non-tax revenue, if we talk about it, so this source include the rent on the municipal properties, fees and fines, loyalties, profits, and the dividends, interest, user charges, and miscellaneous receipts. User charges, payment of the public utilities, including the water charges, sanitation charges, sewerage charges, and so on. There's nothing to explain about it, just a overview. Thereafter, the grants, these include the various grants given to the municipal bodies by the center and the state government for several development programs, infrastructure schemes, and the urban reform initiatives, and so on. Thereafter, the devolution consists of transfer of funds to the urban areas or local bodies from the government. Devolution is made on the basis of recommendations of the State Finance Commission, as we had already discussed. Loans. Urban local bodies raise loans from the state government as well as from the financial institution to meet their capital expenditure. They can borrow from financial institutions or other bodies only with the approval of the state government. Thereafter, the Central Council of Local Government, if we talk about it, set up in 1984, constituted under Article 263 of the Constitution by the order of President of India. Originally, it was known as Central Council of Local Self-Government. However, the term self-government was found to be superfluous and hence was replaced by the term government in 1980s. Till 1958, they deal with both urban as well as rural local governments. But after the 1958, it has been dealing with the matters of urban local government only. Okay. The council is an advisory body. That's why these advices are not conferred upon any organization. Consists of the ministries for urban development in the government of India and the ministers for local self-government in states. Union ministers act as the chairman of the council. The council perform the following functions with regard to the local governments, and the functions are like this: considering and recommending the policy matters, making proposal for legislation, making the possibility of cooperation between the centers and the states, drawing up a common program of action, recommending the center financial assistance, and the reviewing the work done by the local bodies with the center financial assistance. Okay. Thereafter, these are the articles. 243P deals with the definition, 243Q Constitution of Municipalities, 243R Composition of the Municipalities, 243S Constitution and Composition of Ward Committees, and so on, 243T Reservation of Seat, 243U Duration of Municipalities, and so on. 243V Disqualification of Membership, W Powers, Authorities and Responsibility of Municipalities, and so on, 243X Powers to import taxes by and funds of the municipalities, 243Y the Finance Commission, 243Z Audit of Accounts of Municipalities, 243ZA Election to the Municipalities, 243ZB Application to the Union Territories, 243ZC Part not to apply to certain areas, 243ZZ Committee for District Planning, 243ZD Committee for Metropolitan Planning, 243ZF Continuance of Existing Laws and Municipalities, 243ZG Bar to Interference by Courts in Electoral Matters. Thereafter, the name of urban bodies in the areas like Andhra Pradesh Municipal Corporation, Municipalities, Nagar Panchayat, Arunachal Pradesh, ULBs do not exist, urban local bodies, Assam, Municipal Corporation, Municipalities, Town Panchayats, Bihar, Municipal Corporation, Municipal Councils, Nagar Panchayat, Chhattisgarh, Municipal Corporation, Municipalities, Town Panchayats, Goa, Municipal Corporation, Municipal Councils, Gujarat, Municipal Corporation, Municipalities, Notified Area Councils. Okay. So students, basically in this lecture, we have done with the municipalities. In the next lecture, we will start with another important topic. Till then, just revise the facts and figures that we have discussed in this lecture and be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say, thank you.